Hi, I'm Edgar Hernandez.
And I'm Nuri Robles. And this is
Bar Talking
Bar, your access to the heartbeat of New York City's bar and hospitality scene.
Hosted straight from the city that never sleeps, we sit down with bartenders, brands and ambassadors, hospitality pros, and cocktail lovers.
Whether it's the art of bartending, the hustle behind hospitality, or the wildest bar tales, expect raw conversations and industry secrets.
Listen to the people who pour your favorite cocktails and keep the nightlife alive.
If you love bars, spirits, and the stories that bring them to life, follow us, share, and subscribe to keep the conversations flowing.
The podcast that you didn't know you need.
New episodes weekly.
Well, I think, there's probably, I'm glad you have us both on together. We are pals, but there's probably, too much show for just one of us, right? I don't think we have enough to say separately. But together, we'll hopefully round out the show. You think
I can challenge that. So I feel like we are also in that era of like having kind of like going back again of like, we don't like Instagram anymore, right? Like they were saying like...
A little Luddite conversation going on. I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, because I feel like, sometimes you see a picture, a video of...
Insta bartenders are not bartenders.
So that's my point. Like nowadays, it's like we're coming back to our senses of like, you have to go a place and appreciate what they're doing instead of like just saying like, oh, this doesn't look like the picture I saw, the video I saw, right? And I feel like one of the problems that we have also with like in the new generation is like they want to become famous.
Yeah.
Rather than just be a good bartender, right?
I don't mind people having ambition. I don't even mind people that, quote unquote, want to be famous. What I have a problem with is people who want to be famous instantly. And sadly, we live in a world now where that is a possibility, though it is still small. I think it gives people a false sense of hope that they can have that. And I don't think it's the path to enlightenment that they think it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because that was coming with my next question. Like, how do you feel about bartenders coming into the job and saying like, I don't want to pay my dues? Like, I know you started as a bartender, but also you have already paying your dues working in kitchens and stuff.
That will catch up. I mean, if you don't pay your dues, you're not going to have. I mean, it's going like this instead of like this. Because if you go like this, you're going to go like that. But if you're just going like this, then you can have a long career.
Yeah, you don't have your reps. You know what I mean? Like you gotta put in the miles to have like confidence, to walk taller, to speak louder. I think in a similar vein, not necessarily the sort of Instagram world or the quick rise to notoriety or fame or whatever. The only way to get good at something like what we do is to do it over and over. And it bothered me endlessly when I would see people be like, oh, I worked there for 6 months and I quit because I learned everything I could learn in 6 months. I mean, you haven't even met all the regulars in 6 months. What do you mean you left in 6 months and you learned everything? I look at resumes that would be, just so many places on there, but so short of time at each, and like even, at the 10-year mark of Amor y Amargo, like people would ask me like, how come Amor is always still in the press and still getting all the notoriety, and how do people... why? And I was like, well, because I'm here. Yeah. They know where to find me.
Yeah, you build it up. I mean, and he's built up where he's like the bartenders that are those star tenders that people want, they don't look at what they've done. Like Erin Reese, she's a superstar tender. Megan Dorman, all of
Monsters, both of them.
Monsters, and they came up as just bartenders, and then they slowly got to the next thing, and then all of a sudden they're people in the industry like Jimmy Meehan, same thing.
It's also more enriching,
Jeff Bell
to jump to the front of the line is to you may get some accolades or some award or some following on your social media or whatever, but to me that sounds hollow. Yeah, right. If you didn't I don't know.
That's the little side thing that happens if you're just doing your job.
Yeah, but I don't begrudge anybody either. Like again, I'm.
But also, I feel like there are other places that also, kind of they have that sense also that as an owner or as a bar, they want to be on the front page because they want to be either in the 50 best or like, winning just awards to bring people up like, oh, I'm one of the best 50s, so then we can have clientele. And they push also that mentality of like, we have to do this in front of the camera.
There should just be the best 100 bars and then not rated from then on, because anything after that is a PR machine.
Yeah, those things.
I'm hesitant to say that, but if you'd have to do that, here are the best 100 bars in the world. Don't rate them after that. And whose point of view is it that it's the best 100 bars? I mean, it's like, that would kind of ruin the bar for me. I don't want people going to the bar that I like the most.
Yeah, it's.
Do you know what I mean? It's like,
yes and no. I've never been one of those guys like, oh, I knew this band before you did, and now that they're famous, I don't want to listen to them anymore.
Right.
That's not good either. That's sort of back to the beginning. That's a little bit of gatekeeping, and like I find awards like that are. I know you didn't necessarily directly ask, but like awards and stuff like that are pretty powerfully. They can move the needle on getting asses in seats, which is what we need, right? We need revenue to make sure that the bar is healthy and survives. So I can't look away from them from the business standpoint of it all. But at the same time, I feel weird about them. Amor y Amargo was number 23 on the 50 best bars in the world list. 23. That's better than half. And I posted one post. I took the silhouette of Jumpman, Jordan on the shoe. Yeah. And the ball, I put in the I Heart Bitters logo. And I just because I was like, and I just wrote, 23, Jumpman. And I never bragged about it. We have the 50 best plaque somewhere. It's not hanging on the wall anywhere. So it's like this weird, like, I'm very happy to have it. And it definitely drove business. I think it was 2020. I think it was 2022 that we were number 23. Yeah. And it drove business then. I'm not sure if it still does. But like you get the thing and you're like, you feel weird about saying you got it.
Yeah.
I didn't even say we got number 23. I just said Jumpman. It's weird, right? And like, and I even laugh about the other ones, right? Like we got from Tales of the Cocktail, world's best spirit selection. Like world's best spirit selection, we have one bourbon. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't even make sense at first glance, but then you look at it and you say, well, it means either you have a crap ton of stuff or you have a very focused thing. And obviously our thing, we won for being focused, but like. That's not hanging on the bar anywhere. Yep. That plate's at home somewhere, and I eat sandwiches off of it from time to time to make fun of myself.
I've seen that video.
Because it's a little bit self-deprecating, and so like, it becomes this thing that washed over itself. Like, am I proud to have it? Yeah. Do I promote that I have it? No. Do I wish I didn't have it? Also, no. I don't know. It leaves me conflicted.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day,
I didn't ask for any of these things. You know what I mean? I'm just doing my job. As you said, I'm just out there breaking rocks and carrying water. And, that's when after you do that long enough, you achieve nirvana. And then you break rocks and carry water. That nothing changes.
So the question would be like, as an owner or like, like bartenders and, people that been in this industry, what would be the goal of being a bartender? Like a nomination, an award, or just like be the one who's making good drinks?
Making good drinks and making people in your seats, just make a living. I mean, eventually, I moved to the other side, which is kind of a logical move sometimes as one gets older. But, if had I stayed in the bars and eventually taken points or taken ownership, that would have been another logical thing. But I feel like just the point is to be able to make a living. A good living beyond the bar. I mean, that's why is there more than that?
Yeah, I think. Again, the specter of capitalism.
I
follow suit with him. Yeah, it's not necessarily even about making the best drinks. It's about making the best business. I want my business to survive. If my business is healthy, then my team is healthy. If my team is healthy, then my guests are cared for. That's the ultimate goal: caring for the guests.
Yeah.
I will beat the drum until the snares break off. But like, we have to take care of the guest.
Yep.
We've kind of like, we're losing sight of what hospitality at its core means. Hospitality, I think people think it's to make people happy. It is to make people feel cared for, seen and heard, right? When you walk into the bar, I want you to know that I see you. We have a rule at my bar, which is immediately, granted the bar is really small, I know if you got a bigger bar this doesn't work, but immediately you are recognized. Immediately you get some kind of visual cue that we see you or a verbal cue. Within 10 seconds, we hand you a menu. We don't put it down in front of you. We put it in your hand and we look you in the eye. Within 60 seconds past that, we have brought you a glass of water. I'm seeing you. I'm caring for you. Hospitality has begun. We haven't even talked about money. We haven't talked about booze. I'm taking care of you. And I think that, when we strive to achieve the goal of an award or a recognition or accolade, then we start to cut corners on that part of it. And that's the most important part to me.
Yep.
Yeah, especially, I'm going to quote again this person, Matthew Quirky. He said, the bloodline of our business is our clientele. Yep. But it all depends on how we serve our clientele. And, from the moment they're coming from that door, that's when the service starts. It doesn't start when they sit down, when you have the menu. It's the moment because they saw you, you saw them, they acknowledged you. If there was a maitre d' in the front door for greeting them, that was the very, very beginning of hospitality.
Right, and also if we can, we should extend it. I talked to you guys about the fact that I bring home a muffaletta from New Orleans every year, and over the next 4 days, I eat a quarter of that sandwich to sort of extend my time in New Orleans, right? Well, you worked at EMP. When people leave, they get breakfast. Yeah. They get a little bit of granola that you guys make, and they get to go home, and that extends that hospitality. Yep. And we don't get to do a whole lot of that kind of thing at the bar, but I want you to know that I was taking care of those things I listed before, the lighting, the music, making sure the bar was clean, making sure the back bar was tidy and in order. I was doing all that for you because I knew you were coming. I did all that before we opened the doors. Hospitality began before you got here, and hopefully hospitality can end long after you leave here.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then that's so good because we don't really think about that. I mean, people who's the guest or the consumer or however we want to call them, when they go, they don't really think about this. They only think about going, having a drink, walking out. They don't think about all the process that goes behind doors to make sure that their experience is perfect for the day or for the moment. But yeah, that's a really good thing.
And one of the things that we focus always talking in this podcast is about hospitality, because not just being obsessed about it, but I feel like if you work in this industry, it's something that you have to really pay attention to it, because sometimes bartenders are also very busy. They don't have the 10 seconds to say hi to someone, but there's a host, there's the server, there's the barback, there's someone that it's also part of that experience. And like I said, for me, I feel I don't want to, obviously I'm part of the team of fighting capitalism, but at the end of the day, we work in this industry, and then it's a part of the. I don't want to call it show, because also you have it on you, right? And when you work on kind of faking it, it seems also fake, right? So, but for me, it's kind of we sometimes go to bars and we see things that we don't like it, and we get very disappointed because I don't want to come here with my GM mentality, but it's very disappointed that at least you can say hi to someone and serving water or something like that.
Sure.
I have this experience in a place that is new and people love it and everything, but then I went to ask for water. The bar wasn't even busy, and so they gave me water. Then I was super thirsty. We asked for another round of water, and he's like, "Oh, by the way, the water station is over there." And I was like, "Yeah, I can go, but you're here. You are supposed to do that for the guests, right?" Even though they knew
I feel bad about those. I that's a point of contention for me as well when I go to a place that has a water station like that. But I also understand that this is the ownership's decision. Yeah. And so the team is just doing and that's just how it is. But I would never, ever. Oh my God, never.
Yeah.
I would never ask you to get up and go get something. Yeah. On your own.
And in your whole career, you have a habit that how you keep your body, functional until this day.
Well, I mean, that was part of
the
later training that I got with Sasha. I keep going back to him because he was always about efficiency of movement and what to do so you don't ruin your body. It's I think I started working for him when I was in my late 40s, and he couldn't believe that I was that old at that time. And it was just every movement is, you're doing one thing that way with how to shake so you don't wreck your shoulders. Mm-hmm. I miss being on my feet for 16 hours, quite honestly, because it was good exercise. We always had the spongy mats that didn't, so you didn't hurt your feet. And I guess, I did stretch a lot more when I was bartending and yoga and stuff. But there's really nothing, I think each person is different as to what they need to do for their bodies to keep them going.
I was, I didn't talk about it earlier, but when I was in the back of the house, there was a period in my life where for 2 years I was a butcher. And we had to be suited up and knives in hand at 4 a.m. But we would all, and this is a habit that, I'm going to answer your question, this is a habit that overlapped into my bar life as well, and into my kitchen life too. I spend a solid 10 to 15 minutes before every shift stretching. Because in butchery, like I was going to have to carry literal dead weight, right? Large chunks of meats. We would stretch every morning. So then when I taught butchery at the New England Culinary Institute, that was part of my teaching as well. We'd stretch before class. I stretch before work, and then I walk. I walk a lot. I try and do 5 miles a day.
Good.
Yeah. Outside of work, right? That's just my walking. Other than that, I don't have a real exercise regime. And I wish I slept better, but I don't. Yeah. I wish I ate better, but I don't.
Yeah.
I wish I didn't drink every day. No, I don't.
No, I'm with you on that.
It's occasional.
Just for research purposes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but honestly, we love so much that you guys are here because, we mentioned at the very beginning of the podcast, so many people know you, so many people know what you have been doing, so many people know what you've been doing, from the Tonic, from the cocktails that you created, from the bar that you opened.
The books.
The books, actually, because, when we went to the...
When's your book coming out?
Yeah, well, you did.
Listen, it's
on the way.
It's there. It's there. I just
when we went
it's
to
a good one.
We went to your pop up when you were having the pop up in a small location on Amor y Amargo, the back room.
And then Tom was the part
Tom
of
was
the
doing the
pop-up.
pop up.
Yeah.
You gave us a book, and then which I think was super amazing because we didn't even ask for it, and you gave us the book, you signed it, and I was like, oh my God, he gave us a book.
It was like a groupie moment.
No. And at this moment, honestly, I want to go back a little bit. And so the reason why this podcast started, in part, is because, persons like you, we look up to you. I listen to your podcast.
Yeah.
I listened to, the first time I listened to a podcast was when Aaron Reese was there.
Oh,
and I didn't even know.
Show?
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. Yeah,
I didn't even know that. And then she said, I went to a podcast, and I looked for it. I can't remember how I found it. And I got so hooked into it because I was like, oh, they talk a lot about history, about spirits, this and that. I've been very nerdy about that since I'm a bartender. But I was also looking ways for me to learn different things, So when I learned about the podcast, I was listening to the podcast all the time. And that's when, years later, Nuri and I decided, hey, why don't we start a podcast? We can talk about what we love, what we're already doing. And it's a conversation between friends that we can, share a little bit of whiskey over it. We can drink some water. We can talk about our experiences. And I think this is just going to help also our community. If we can leave something for our community, for the new bartenders, the new generations that I also...
100%. It would be remiss of us to, even on this episode, we've sort of bitched a little bit about how maybe the younger bartenders don't have it, right? It would be remiss of us then to not offer them a way to get it.
Yeah, exactly.
So
we should do shaking and stirring or whatever, master classes for people or whatever.
I'm not going to call out a problem and not at least offer maybe a solution.
Exactly.
So the solution is these conversations,
exactly.
and to hype myself a little bit here, my show now has been on for almost 15 years, The Speakeasy. We were, for the first time ever, we were a media partner at Tales of the Cocktail this year. We're hoping that that's going to grow into a year-long commitment from them, but also if it doesn't, we're pretty confident that we're going to be a partner with them next year at the festival. I have a new show that's only 6 months old called Sauced, where I break down food recipes that have booze in them, and then we talk about what we'd drink while either cooking or eating that. So cooking with booze and drinking with food. Let's get sauced.
Great.
And then you also have a hot sauce that you actually
I make hot sauces. Yeah,
It's right here. Let me show you right now. This one, we were actually gifted this hot sauce. This is Tom's.
Did you see this?
No, I hear, but I wasn't able to.
So the hot sauce is also another project that you also have.
Yeah, the hot sauce predates the show, but the hot sauce is made with booze. It's got mezcal in it to get a little smoky mineral quality. It's delicious.
Can I drink it? Can I eat it?
Yeah.
It ain't
Glass of champagne.
It ain't the mezcal that's going to get in the way. It's the heat.
Yeah.
That stuff is hot.
Yeah, and also in part of the show, 15 years not easy. It's a long.
I can't believe it. Like
I heard you guys just crossed the year, so you're like 50 something episodes. The Speakeasy is at 700.
Yeah, we have 50. We still
I did one of those.
We're still a baby.
When what's his name was still in town? ZZ Top.
Damon.
Damon, yeah, thanks.
also I heard the episode with Tom, and that's where I learned how you chop your thumb. Which is good. I mean, obviously, like we said, a year, 15 years, easy, but I can't imagine like how you do that. Like, no, in terms of like energy, but it's a lot, like financially and timing consuming, and also like I feel the other part is like working in this industry, like people like you guys that also be super busy, just having the time for us is like amazing, like grateful, and thank you so much.
Yeah.
But 700 episodes, like how do you?
Nuts. Yeah, I think it's we never monetized the show until recently. Literally, like within the last 2 years have we monetized it at all, and only within the last literally maybe 4 months have we made it actually maybe make a little money. It's always cost us a little bit of money. And we've always done it, I think, kind of the same reason you started this, because we enjoy it. And I will tell you, in no uncertain terms, after having done the show for this long and having its notoriety throughout our industry, I will cold call anyone if I want to have them on the show. And almost always they'll say yes.
That's so cool.
And that's what matters. Again, it's building community, it's building trust. They know that I'm not going to try and embarrass them or say something dumb or whatever. We just want to have a good conversation. And your show, I think, is a little bit more, feels like it's a little bit more community building. Mm-hmm. My show is a little bit more, we talk about our listener as a fly on the wall after hours in the bar when I'm having a conversation with someone from the bar world, and you get to overhear it. I feel like this conversation is a little bit more you're inviting them in, whereas ours is more like just kind of listening. But
still, people learn.
Oh yeah, of course. And we do it because we love it, and the show's changed and morphed and done different things over the years. And
as hospitality has done, like honestly, things have changed. There are new things to learn and new things to talk about. Like we all have the same base. But like talking about restaurants, talking about food, talking about drinks, the new recipe somebody created. I feel like when that happens, it builds there's so many things you can actually talk about. It's endless. And one of the days that we're actually talking, Nuri and I, what are we talking about? What are we going to be talking about in the show? And it's just like it's just us being ourselves, talking about and asking the questions. We don't have it written, so it's just like very organic. And we say what we have to say for the benefit of the audience, also that they can learn something from us. I'm sure they probably don't know much about you as for now. From Minnesota originally, from Miami.
Panama City, way up here.
Oh, okay.
We call L.A.
Wow.
The redneck
Floribama.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But also,
As mentioned, I've never been back.
Wow.
I don't think we touched that part, but like, besides all these years in the industry, how's your family? Like, how you build the family outside of it?
It wasn't for me. It's not that hard. I was in the theater. My wife still is in the theater, and those kind of hours are the same. And it's like being behind the bar really pushed all the buttons that I needed when I was transitioning away from theater. So it's right before you're opening, it's like people are giving you 10 minutes till we're open. It's like just like curtain, and doors open, curtains up. Same show every night, different audience. So the similarity is so there that it was a very easy transition. As far as building a family, we don't have kids, but we are a family, and it's about being able to just deal with the time commitment.
Yeah.
You know, that's it, really. I mean, it's like you work it out, you figure it out.
Yeah, I would say I have a pretty similar current situation, but my previous situation is quite the opposite. And I would say, certainly, I'm not going to say I regret anything that has happened in my life necessarily. I was married for 8 years, and I know for a fact that my job was the end of our relationship. She came to me and said, I got my tickets to go home for Thanksgiving. And I realized that she didn't even ask me if she should buy me one because she knew I had to work, or that I probably would have to work. She just made that foregone conclusion, and I knew that was the end of our road, and it was a few months later. But now I'm in a relationship that I've been in for 14 years, and you as you said, you kind of make it work, right? She's sort of halfway in the field, but not. So she has some understanding of that. We also both happen to be quite independent, so we don't need to be connected to each other all the time, But I don't know, there's sacrifices to be made in any career field that you choose, and especially when you choose a field as sort of passionate as ours, I don't think people really have a fulfilling life if they do what we do for years on end and they're not passionate about it, right? If it's just to pay the bills.
Yes.
I think it's a harder position to be in if you're just clocking in and clocking out. You got to have some drive. You got to be, you got to desire some information and some knowledge and some travel and some insights.
But I'll insert another thing Sasha always said. You can't teach someone to give a shit.
Right. You can't be.
They either do or they don't.
And you can't be interesting if you aren't interested.
Yep.
Yeah. Right? So I think people in our field, I always say, like, Tales of Cocktail. What is that? Boy, that's a convention of all alphas. Everybody here wants to be the loudest, the funniest, the most outrageous, right? We're all a bunch of alphas, right? So, like, it's a real, it's the all-star team all the time, right? All-star teams only play once a year.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
And I have a question for you, Tom. I feel like for me, the name Sasha means a lot in terms of, like, not just the person who many people knew also, but for me it was very intriguing that this particular person changed the whole scene of cocktail world in certain time, which now people I think like are kind of like diverse in that era as well. But how was he, if you can tell us a little
How
bit?
what?
How was he like
His personality?
like Sasha, like people who doesn't have the opportunity to meet him
He was
or working with him.
Yeah, and it's funny because you're the biggest star tender on the planet was like, star tending is not what you should be doing, just ignore that,
Right,
so
he didn't have social media.
He didn't have
give a
social
shit about
media,
that
and
stuff.
he was the guy that you go into any bar right now and you see that setup, that's because of what he did, and he just approached it.
Yeah, you see a fruit bowl, you see a couple of candles.
On ice.
You see, big chunks of ice being chipped. Like, that all originated there.
One of the stories, let me just add this, is that I heard about him before he was like committed, like, I wanted something different. He used to go to Angel Share, and he used to see the guy, and he was like, oh, I feel something that I want to change what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So
he was pulling drafts at Vaughn when he first got Milk and Honey, and he would go to Angel Share.
Bottom Blicker?
Yeah. And when he got Milk and Honey, Dale DeGroff was like at some dinner party across the street, and he saw these people going into and out of an old mahjong parlor, which is what Milk and Honey originally was. And he found out that it was this young man, Sasha Petraske, that was doing it, and Dale just literally went over there with Jerry Thomas's book and handed it to him. And Sasha he was super genius, like to the point of sometimes a little bit clunky, but his genius was beyond whatever. And he just like looked at this and was like, let's figure out a way to do this. And so he was untrained and figured out how to do it much more efficiently and what would make sense. So he had no bad habits to change.
Right.
So a lot of times, I'm thankful that he took me in because I was so much older as a bartender, but I never stopped learning, you know, and I really changed my style of bartending very quickly once I started learning, oh, that makes total sense, and why didn't I think of that, and whatever. And even to this day, I like training untrained bartenders easier than someone who you have to break their bad habits. But he was just looking at it from a really clean perspective and just said, well, this makes sense, and we'll set up the bar like this, because if you turn here and you can grab this, you come back here, you do this, and you put this back there. I mean, it made sense to him. And he was hospitality above everything. Garnishing a drink properly just becomes a side step of good service. You know, the way you put it in a certain glass, because it's good service. It had nothing to do with anything other than this is good service. And that was it. So it was a real simple point of view, but it just made so much sense.
And he made a lot, like, he made a big change in the industry.
Yeah.
Until now.
Did you meet him? Like,
Yeah. I knew Sasha, of course, and I actually knew his wife pretty well. Georgette and I were good friends. I helped her open up regarding oysters here in the city, and now she moved to France and she does it in Paris. But I worked at White Star.
Oh, you did?
Which was a Petraske bar as well. But I was there right as he kind of sold it. But like we crossed over for a bit there. Just to Tom summed him up pretty well. Everything was in service to service. Everything was in service to making things beautiful, hospitable, welcoming, and I feel like that's simpatico for me. Like it is all I care about. You know, I've been written about as a militant hospitalitarian. I will force you to have a good time, right? Like that's the whole goal for me.
I love what one of the things I read in like the rules that he put in the bathroom, and I love it was like, you know, taking care of women, like, you know, not that was kind of responsibility of the bartenders.
Oh yeah, the protector of the room, man.
Making sure you go home safe, make sure you are taken care of.
Oh no, especially like he put it on the bathroom. Like if you were a guy, you don't talk to women that you don't know, which was like amazing for me. Thank you, Sasha.
Yeah, I mean, especially in such a small room, you know, it's not to discourage people from meeting one another or maybe striking up a romance or even just a night of romance. It's to create an environment that is more comfortable and safe.
Respectful.
And respectful. That doesn't mean you couldn't wind up having a conversation with that person, but you needed to be maybe introduced by the bartender.
And that was on that list too. If you want to meet somebody, ask the bartender to introduce you.
Yeah. Which, by the way, is another barrier of entry, right? So the bartender can be like, I know that she doesn't want to talk to you or anyone. It's not just you or what, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And you can let them down easy and there's no friction. You know, I think Sasha, whether intentionally or not, certainly there was an intent, but I don't think maybe the wording is intentional. But like, I think he was always looking for ways to reduce friction.
Yep.
Everything needed to be like smooth, comfortable, ergonomic. You know, like everything needed to be like really well rounded off.
Yeah.
And I think people want to know also the fun part. Like, do you have like something that you feel like
The fun part, all of this is the fun part.
I was like, what?
what are you talking about?
That's my job.
No, but like you make like, did you remember something that is really like bad happened at the bar and you feel like so stupid? Like, why did I do this or something?
Like a clumsy or anything?
like a experience.
A fun experience?
I was working on a drink with one of my bartenders who lied to get her first bartending job, which
is like 80% of bartenders.
applaud, because if a bartender comes to me and says, I have a bartending certificate, I'm like, get out.
Yeah.
And if somebody says I lied to get my first job, which I did as well, that's kind of part of our mentality. And it was Naomi, Leslie, and it was a Sunday night and we were at Irving, because I loved Sunday nights because it was just a little more chill. It was slower, so it was understaffed, so the money was still good, and it was very regular. It was very industry night, and somebody, like, I make a really good Caesar salad dressing, so I decided to make a drink that was like a Caesar salad dressing. And I remember turning to Naomi, and she said, to this day, she goes, I'll never forget that. She goes, looked at me and said, "Is there too much fish in this cocktail?"
Yeah.
And she was like, "Tom."
But what year was this? You were ahead of your time, is all.
And I ran across the street.
Yeah.
You didn't have the right tools.
No, I know. I ran across the street to Casamono, and they just gave me some of those Bocarones. And I did it. This was in 2016,
Right.
15 or 16.
If you had like,
It was really good drink, though. I mean, it was weird, but it was good.
But if you had an ISI,
Yeah, totally.
a rotary evaporator, and access to a vacuum distiller and or a vacuum pressurizer and sous vide, like you could have, look at Schmuck. Don't they have like a Caesar salad-y blue cheese thing on the menu right now? Like,
yeah.
not impossible.
I mean, that's about as weird. I mean, it's like, as far as like, the discretion thing also kicks in that I was taught is like, I don't tell stories about other people at all ever, really.
I don't know that I have anything habitual that I look back on and think was silly. It's strange, right? You become known for something. And I am known for stirring drinks. At Amor y Amargo for 15 years, we've never shaken a drink. We stir drinks only. That's just how it is. We don't use any juice, no sugar, nothing shaken. So I'm Gilligan, right? Bob Denver, he played a lot of different roles, but he's Gilligan, man, until long after he's dead.
He's Gilligan, yeah.
So when I go to another bar, and I own other bars, it's not like I'm just at Amor y Amargo. But when I pull up a shaker, like cameras come up, like I caught him shaking a drink, right? Like, oh my gosh. And so weirdly, I've become known as this super serious, kind of like hardline person. But at the same time, I'm known, at least to myself, as I like to make fun of myself. So I would say that one of the goofiest thing that I ever did is I worked for 6 months at I was on the opening team at Booker and Dax. Amor was already in full swing. Booker and Dax was opening. Dave Arnold and I knew each other from the culinary world, and he was like, "Hey man, can you help me teach bartenders how to use these culinary tools to make drinks?" And I was like, "Let's go." So I would work only one night a week. I was there for 2 months before we opened, getting the menu ready, and then I was just there one night a week for 6 months after that. And I would go in wearing a lab coat, and I had like safety goggles up on top of my head with my glasses underneath. And then I kept a magnetic spinner, right? Like you used to have in chemistry class. I had a magnetic spinner on my station. It was always going. And like mid conversation with guests, I'd look over at the spinner and I'd like grab a bottle of bitters and put a few drops in there and splash in a little L in so it would smoke. Or I'd look back at them and keep talking. And they'd be like, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I'm just working on stuff for the next menu." Like I was doing this little weird like sideshow. I just wanted
That's so cool.
I just wanted to be like this goofy, like professor or whatever behind the bar, because, at that bar we were making drinks that were at the time pretty, cutting edge in that sort of molecular vein, which not my favorite, but also I think it belongs,
Yeah.
But like we couldn't make anything to order really. Everything we made was involved so much prep that it was all made before you got there,
Okay.
So like to have that little thing on my station and kind of like make people think, "Oh, he's working on something. I don't know what he's doing." It's like, I don't know.
That's a cool. That builds curiosity.
Yeah, exactly.
For the
and
guests.
I think like I said it already in this conversation. Like you can't be interesting if you're not interested. And I think that I'm quite interested in this field of endeavor. And I still am this long into it. And I think that if you can hang on to being interested, then you'll be an interesting person, and people want to come see you and see what you're doing and talk to you about it.
So what happened to me when I came back to work in the industry, which was in 2023. I was very scared because I left the industry for 4 years. So I remember that I reached out to someone and I was like, "Hey, I'm trying to, come back in the industry. Is there any way that you can help me to mentor me? Like I can go to your bar and train, whatever. Unfortunately, he says no because he was also leaving the industry, but he's like, these days it's hard. Like people, they don't mentor anymore. So what do you think about it?
Yeah, I think,
That's true.
It's certainly true.
Yeah.
We talked about it a little earlier in this conversation. Like a lot of people left the field who were kind of in that role or about to become that role. Like that's the thing. We kind of lost like a wave of people who were just about to become the sort of person to be looked up to, and they took off or went and did something in their, they got a degree that they never used. They went to do that, or they moved to another place and started something of their own.
That's your fault.
So yeah, what?
That's your fault because you moved to another field.
Well,
And that's part of it too. Is like you move out of the bartending thing, and what happens, and also what's happening with the industry right now, that you're not really, people aren't really bartending like we did. They still are at Amor, but and a handful of bars, but it's the prep guy that puts all the batches together. So how do you teach somebody to bartend if you're just pouring out of a batch?
Because sometimes the bartenders don't know the ingredients of the cocktail.
Oh, that makes me crazy.
That's the thing.
Hey, what's the vermouth in there? I don't know.
Right. What are we at? Don the Beachcomber? Mm-hmm. Right. When no one knew what was in the Don's mix number 3.
Yeah, exactly. So that's part of the problem too, I think. But
that's a little bit. But I really do find that the mechanics of the job are the smallest percentage of the whole.
Right.
What I would like to see is more people being open and honest with their teams, and being there for them whenever, like I'm there for my team. They need me. They all have my number. They can text me anytime. We have a group thread going all the time at all the different places. I think it's making yourself available and being honest. If they come to me with a question, I will answer it as honestly as I can, even if that answer is I don't know, but maybe I can help you figure it out. And also like from the beginning at Amor y Amargo, I have a sort of contract is a strong word because it's not legally binding or anything, but I have an agreement with anyone that I hire at Amor y Amargo. Do you know about this? So the agreement is basically, if I'm going to hire you, first of all, if you can't work here for at least 1 year, we don't need to talk anymore. No hard feelings. But if you sign on to work for me, you're signing on for a minimum of a year. Of course, over the course of that year, I'm going to offer you a clean, safe, functioning place to work and make money. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that the place is full of people, doing everything I can to be, advertising, social media, on my show, whatever, like driving people towards this place for you. I'm going to teach you everything I can teach you in the course of that year that you're here through programs that we do, or through actual side-by-side with me, or through learning from the people that I've already taught that are here with you. At the end of your time, whenever that time is, past a year, when you're ready to leave, I will do the hiring, but I need you to help me train that next person. And if you can give me that 1 year, I'm in your pocket forever, right? This is to say now that you've left and you live out in, what did you say before? What's it?
Madison.
Yeah, whatever. You're in Madison and you're looking for a job, and if I know anybody or I have any string I can pull in that town, I'm pulling it for you.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a trade. And I think that's the word that gets lost in our field. But when we talk about trade, that's what it comes down to. You're trading your time for maybe some of my expertise and some of my connections. And that's what we're both getting a deal here. And I don't think that enough places hire, and I mean any place, the shoe store, whatever, places don't hire with this notion that we both owe each other something from day one. And if we can establish that we both owe each other, then we have a much more functioning relationship. And then, to the longest way I could to get to your question, then mentoring becomes sort of automatic.
Yes.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is pretty interesting too, because a lot of us think that the business here is just about going to brands and getting this, getting that. But I think the most important part is knowing people and know who you're working. Because like I'm gonna call that stuff that says right there, be the person who you want to work, with, basically. So if I want to be a nice person, a human being to you, you're gonna pass that along as well, and so on and so on. And I think that creates like a chain reaction, I would say, because even if I don't do it for somebody else that I know, you'll do it for somebody else that you're gonna help, and think about me in that sense. I think just extending your hand to others and helping, and if that person takes a year to grow, he's probably gonna be able to do the same thing to others, right, without even thinking.
Oh, absolutely, and it's that whole thing that bars and restaurants used to have, like chefs and bartenders used to be those abusive people that you see in TV shows like The Bear. That was for real, and that doesn't work quite well anymore. And I would never.
It didn't work then.
No,
it just was. And you would have it.
The abused child would then abuse children after that. So it's like you
hurt people.
You hurt people. You hurt people. It's like I never ever was like that. I mean, I would be funny and stern sometimes, but it was always no, because you've got to encourage people to continue to want to love to do this. Why would you beat somebody down?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because I feel like that's what creates community as well. Like like you said, like once you put your name applying to work at Atlantic Grill and he knows you, it's because he knows that you're, a good, not just a good person, but also like a good worker. So then they can take you in. And I feel like one of the other parts of like being a mentor doesn't necessarily be like, I have to be in person with you, but like empowerment. Like, sometimes you don't have the opportunity, but you can call people and say, hey, there's this person that is looking for a job or like this and that. And you can pass information. And I think that is also part of like good mentorship.
95% of the people that I know in the service industry has a job because they know somebody in the industry.
Of course.
And if they are just coming out from, like a bartending school, they still they have to know somebody because you cannot just go and say, oh, hey, I'm a bartender, or I'm a barback, or I'm a busboy, I'm a cook, or whatever you are. I think in the service industry, you have to know at least one person, to get you to the next step, and so on and so on. And I think it comes from us, right? Because we have to look for that step too. Because if you want to be a barback, you don't want to be a barback for 10 years. That's a stepping stone.
Sure.
Same thing with cooking. If you're cooking on a line for a year, you move from different stations till you become the chef, the sous chef, perhaps the executive chef. Same thing comes to the front of the house. You want to be a barback, a server, floor manager, or the bartender,
captain, etc.
It's
a logical progression.
Exactly. So it just depends on the person as well, right? So encouraging the team is a really, really important thing to do, but also it's if they want to do it, they want to take the chance and move on,
Yeah.
Because a lot of us, we're comfortable in one place, and I think that's where we stay.
Yeah, I think it's, knowing someone is your sort of validation chip, right? You've been vetted. If we can go back to when I talked briefly about the boomerang, we started the boomerangs in the East Village, and this was a vetting process. I wouldn't just hand a boomerang to someone who said they were going to, Death & Co. or Pouring Ribbons or whatever. I had to get to know them a little bit and be like, oh, this is a pretty cool person. Hey, pretty cool person, I'm going to ask you something weird. I'm going to give you this cocktail. I'm going to inflate a glove on top of it so it looks like a rooster's, comb. I'm going to write "eat a dick" on it in big black letters.
You're going to tape the fingers so they're doing that.
Fingers down. I'll ask you to carry this through the East Village because I overheard you're going to Pouring Ribbons, right?
Yeah.
And then what happens is, then the door guy at Pouring Ribbons sees this coming, and he's like, "This guy's cool.
Yep.
This guy's been vetted."
You get to skip the line.
Maybe skip the line, or I'm not going to be as scrutinous with you, welcoming you a little bit more. Like instead of looking at your ID, like obviously you were just somewhere, get up there, and then when you come in with that in your hand, and Joaquin is behind the bar and he sees you, he's like, "This guy's been vetted. I can see the glass. He's been at Amor y Amargo. Amor y Amargo sent this over to us."
Yeah,
cool.
Right. So it's the same way when we talk about like, hey, you're applying for a job, and you tell me you know Tom, and I'm like, oh, how do you know Tom? Right. And I always joke, like, just because you drop my name, you're going to this place that you tell them I sent you. This will either get you curried favor or get you ejected. Depends on who's behind the bar, I guess. So like it can be wielded as a weapon as well. But generally, it's just in good fun. But it's vetting. It's all about vetting.
Oh.
Well, guys, this has been an amazing conversation.
Yeah.
And we can talk forever, but
we could.
We have so much to talk, honestly.
But we're very thankful. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your experience, your funny stories. Like you say, you're fun every night.
Yeah.
I believe it. And thank you, Tom, for coming. Thank you for everything. Not just tonight, for the whole experience of like knowing you, for like whatever you're teaching, for whatever you're sharing with the community. I think it's like why build this community.
Yeah,
we really appreciate your job.
Well, I think from our side of the interview here, I will definitely give this episode 1.5 thumbs up.
Yeah.
1.5.
It looks funny when I do this.
Did you miss it?
Miss your thumb, she said.
Oh God, it's just sucks. Yeah, it's like I can't pick up a paperclip with my left hand.
Oh, right, because you have no
fingernail.
Yeah.
No.
Amazing.
Is there?
It's hard to button these sleeves.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
I remember in the early days, you had that little cup of rice, and you were grinding your thumb into hard uncooked rice because the doctor was like, you need to like desensitize it. So he was like just carrying this little cup around, and grinding his thumb into.
It didn't do much. I mean, because literally, it's the base of this thumbnail, so it's like it tickles like the base of your thumbnail. This is fine. It's just, and I've got a little bend there, but that's. You know,
That's fine.
don't touch a blade.
Yeah, be
Okay,
careful
don't
with
do
blades.
that.
Guys.
Yeah, don't touch. Don't
Gentlemen,
touch it.
before we go, is there anything you like to say to the audience on this camera?
Shout out or
Shout outs or
I mean,
Watch for our upcoming television show where we
we're gonna
travel
show
and
our own.
booze and stuff. We'll see.
we travel and booze. Is that what we do? We
Travel and booze. Yeah.
You know, I think if you're listening to this show, you're probably hopefully gleaning some information about the field that we're in. You can see that we're all quite passionate and we love it. You know, I've always said I think the hardest part of the job for me over the years that I've been behind the bar is to remain unjaded. And I think a way for you to do that is to step back a second from every question that you get over and over. It's the over and over questions that you get, right? But understand that that person asking you is asking it for the first time, just because you've heard that question 10,000 times. Sharpen your axe and have very succinct answers to the questions you get asked all the time. That way you can hit the answer and move on. But like remain unjaded.
And as long as we're alive, come ask us questions.
Oh, 100%.
Because there's a lot of information that we don't even know to put out there.
Sure.
That will get lost when we're gone.
Yeah.
So
I'm reachable on all my social media. Shoot me a DM. I answer all of them myself. Like I'm an open book.
great.
awesome. And you, Tom?
What?
You want to say something? A shout out to any of you peeps out there?
I thought I just did, didn't I?
Oh no, you did.
Yeah, this has been a ton of fun. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
No,
Thank you
thank
so
you
much.
so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And
We're gonna leave
Another
by
week.
saying bar talking bar on 3 on
And that
on this
camera.
one right there, like on the,
That one?
Yeah.
That phone.
Oh, that's over there?
All right. So I want to say bar talking bar at 3. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Bar talking
bar.
See you next week, guys, and thank you so much for liking, commenting, and sharing. Also, don't forget to tip your bartender or tip in general. And also, if you want to support this show, we have a Buy Me a Coffee, and it's on link on Instagram, and it also is linked on our webpage, which is
www.bartalkingbarnyc.com for more episodes like this.
Do you want our, are you going to put our Instagrams on there?
Yeah, we're gonna put your Instagram, but you're welcome
So
to.
my Instagram is TOMR_Richter, and that's my Insta, whatever. I don't do the whatever that
TikToks?
other one. No.
you have to dance like in TikTok.
Yeah. I'm creative drunk on all social media.
Yeah, we're gonna put them there, and
Yeah.
it's gonna.
There you go, guys. Thank you so much for another week. We'll see you guys next week. Ciao. Cheers.
Bye.